A delicate dance on a razor's edge, US-China relations. Welcome to our channel. Today we're diving into a topic that's about as comfortable as a root canal performed by a bear wearing oven mitts. The 5 signs that the US and China might be heading towards war. Now, before you start digging a bunker under your basement and stocking it with canned goods and enough dehydrated meals to make a survivalist drool, let's be clear, war is not inevitable. But, and this is a terrifying but, the relationship between these two global powerhouses is starting to look like a game of Jenga played by a bunch of caffeinated toddlers on a roller coaster. In other words, things are wobbly, unpredictable, and likely to end in tears or worse. As cyber warfare, a whole new theater of conflict. Let's start with the insidious world of cybersecurity, which, let's be honest, sounds like a term invented by a politician who needed a fancy way to say things we don't understand but make us feel vaguely terrified. Both the US and China have been busy accusing each other of hacking, espionage, and generally behaving badly in the digital realm. Think of it as a high-stakes game of Among Us, but instead of figuring out who vented in electrical, they're trying to steal each other's state secrets and potentially cripple critical infrastructure. And it's not just accusations, folks. Remember that time a bunch of US government agencies got hacked and everyone pointed the finger at China? Or when Chinese companies suddenly found themselves on the wrong side of US sanctions for, you guessed it, alleged cyber attacks? This back and forth is about as subtle as a sledgehammer in a china shop, and it's making everyone nervous. Taiwan, the island that could spark a global firestorm. And then there's Taiwan, the self-governing island that China claims as its own, a situation that's about as tense as a long car ride with a family of raccoons. The US has been sending warships through the Taiwan Strait with the kind of frequency that suggests they're building up their nautical frequent flyer miles. Meanwhile, China's been flexing its military muscles nearby like a bodybuilder at a beach party, conducting military exercises that make everyone within a 1,000-mile radius break out in a cold sweat. Now, to be fair, China says these exercises are purely defensive, like a porcupine claiming its quills are just for show. But when you're talking about a potential conflict that could make World War II look like a playground scuffle, well, let's just say nobody's buying that nothing to see here routine. Speaking of things that make everyone nervous, let's talk about China's shipbuilding program, which is moving faster than a cheetah on a sugar rush. They're churning out warships like they're going out of style. And these aren't just your average bathtub toys, folks. We're talking aircraft carriers, destroyers, submarines, the whole nautical enchilada. Now, on the one hand, you could argue that every country has the right to build up its defenses. That's a fair point. On the other hand, when you're already engaged in some seriously shady cyber shenanigans and rattling your saber louder than a marching band in a library, well, let's just say it doesn't exactly scream we come in peace. And if the military posturing wasn't enough to make you reach for the antacids, let's not forget the trade war. Remember that time the US slapped tariffs on Chinese goods like they were trying to win a game of global whack-a-mole? And then China retaliated with tariffs of their own, because apparently nobody wins in a trade war except maybe the people who sell antacids. This economic tit-for-tat has left businesses on both sides scrambling like roaches in a suddenly illuminated kitchen. It's created uncertainty, disrupted supply chains, and generally made everyone wonder if anyone involved actually remembers how economics works. And finally, let's talk about diplomacy, which in this case is about as effective as a screen door on a submarine. The diplomatic exchanges between the US and China have been about as warm and fuzzy as a cactus convention. We're talking public accusations, finger-pointing, and enough passive-aggressive jabs to make a room full of diplomats need a group therapy session. It's like watching a couple on the verge of a breakup try to order a pizza. There's a lot of tension, miscommunication, and a distinct possibility that someone's going to end up sleeping on the couch. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on global affairs. And remember, while the situation between the US and China is undeniably tense, it's important to approach this topic with nuance and a healthy dose of skepticism. It's easy to get caught up in the headlines and worst-case scenarios, but the reality is that both countries have a vested interest in avoiding a conflict that would be catastrophic for everyone involved. So stay informed, stay engaged, and let's hope that cooler heads prevail.
If you found this helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more updates.